Birth to the Bubi people of Equatorial Guinea is not just a biological event. It's a cosmic arrival, a spiritual homecoming that connects the child to the ancestors, earth, and divine. Hello, my dearest. How you guys doing today? This is Rosalinda, your favorite fire inspector. Welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to go straight to the point. But before, I just wanted to show my hairstyle for the day, my outfit for the day. As you guys know, I'm in my uniform, okay? And my perfume for the day, which is unisex, is the Coffee and Whiskey by Bed Bath and Beyond. Okay, so we're gonna go straight to the point, and today we're gonna talk about the birth, the born on of earth and spirit, the sacred birth of the Bubi people, and the ceremony when the soul arrive into the earth. Okay, and we're gonna break it into 6 areas. Okay, the first one is the birth. Okay, more than biology. Then number 2 is the moment of birth. Number 3 is spiritual cleansing of the child, post-birth rituals. Okay, the naming ceremony. Number 4. Number 5, the community celebration. And number 6, the final blessing and taboo. So we're going to talk of all these areas, all right? But let me introduce myself. This is your favorite fire inspector. Welcome back to my channel, right? And you guys know this channel is all about fire prevention and anything related to fire. And for my ladies out there who want to become a firefighter, fire inspectors, this is your favorite fire inspector. And we're going to be talking not just only about that. We're going to talk about Equatorial Guinea, which is the country I was born, especially the Bubi people, and Spain, which is I am half Spanish. Okay, we're going to talk about food, lifestyle, and everything else that comes with it. All right, so now we're going to go straight into our point, our topic of today. All right, so today is a very special topic for me, and I'm going to explain to you guys, you know, how we celebrate the birth of a child and in the moment of arrival into the earth. Okay, also the first part is birth, more than biology to us, right? Because it is said that among the Bubi people, childbirth is sacred. Okay, and it's believed that the ancestors and the soul send the soul back into earth, you know. So we believe in the recognition that people don't die. It's just that, you know, the body stays in the ground. So in the Bubi tradition, we believe that the soul, like the body stays in the ground, but the soul goes back to the ancestral sisters in our ancestral home, right? So I remember when I was a child, right, when a woman was pregnant, let's say I remember this particular time, I was around 7 or 8, and the women were talking in the village, right? They were having a conversation, and my auntie was pregnant, but we didn't know because those things are not shared with kids, right? Because you can't get into the conversation, not like today, where you can get into the conversation of adults if you're a child. But over there, you could not get into the conversation of adults. But then I overhear that my auntie was pregnant, right? So you weren't supposed to share that news to everybody because you have people who will want to wish that baby not to be born, right? Depending on the family that you came from. So it was truly a taboo. You know, the pregnant woman was protected until, you know, the belly starts showing, because it's when the spirits, you know, the bad spirits will trying to surround the woman, because the birth signify purity, rebirth of one of our ancestors that I have gone, right? So a woman, it is kept very hidden, and it is taboo for you to even touch the woman's belly, You know, it is taboo to the woman to constantly be around other people. So the woman in the moment of pregnancy, when they're carrying that baby, actually, you know, a woman is shielded, is completely protected, and nobody, not everybody can actually come around that woman when they're pregnant, right? So I remember those things, and I remember me going to share the news with my friends, right? When they find out, my family find out, oh my God, I was whipped. Okay, I was whipped because it was prohibited to say anything until the belly is start showing, right? So I remember that very, very clear because they beat me up. You know, the elders beat me up that day. And I learned from that time not to ever share any information like that in the moment of pregnancy of a woman. Okay, because you have a lot of bad spirit. You know, that's how what our grandmothers used to tell us. So that woman is protected. So, you know, and it is known that, you know, that woman right now at that point, they're carrying, you know, a baby, a messenger of legacy. So the mother, you know, is spiritually protected. So usually she'll be cared of by elders, another elder women, okay, surrounding her. And every morning when she wake up, she'll have herbal bath, which is like a spiritual cleansing, protecting her from the bad spirit, because the bad spirit always looking for a baby to sacrifice, because they are in the purest form. You know, they're not corrupted. You know, they have not come yet to earth. And most witch doctors, you know, they will be looking for that. So that woman is very, very, very protected, okay, by the elder woman who will do spiritual cleansing and herbal cleansing every morning before the pregnant woman, you know, it comes out, right? So they're completely protected. And you know, and they say prayers about them, they say spiritual prayers, you know, on the head, right? So that is the first part that we just covered, right? So the number two is the moment of birth. The moment of birth, traditionally, you know, there will be, it will not be in the hospital. I remember back in the days, obviously now, yes, right? Most people give birth in the hospitals, but back then, no, they did not give birth. So most of the time, there will be at home, right? So there was court. It wasn't even in the bath, all this other stuff that goes on these days, you know, when you are like in America or in Europe, where they want to give birth at home and in the water. No. In our tradition, a woman will squat, you know, the midwife, which is a traditional midwife. You know, this is a woman who have delivered many, many, many children in the village through herbal and spiritual guidance. You know, she was not a medical practitioner or a midwife in such. So these are women who those gifts will pass on from generation to generation, right? And they will call weke, weke in weke, okay, that oversees the birth, and they will use herbals around the woman, and the woman will actually squat, you know, in the time of giving birth. And those elders, those midwives and the elders will surround, only woman can be in that space at that time, will surround that new mother or a mother giving birth for the second time or the third time. It's such a unique moment. And also at that time, you know, it is said when a baby goes through the canal of the mother, you understand, an ancestor, right, a spiritual ancestor follow us, you know, come with us. We do not come alone, right? In the moment of the baby birth, giving, you know, the mother giving birth to that baby and coming through the canal of the mom, right? That that baby did not come alone. It's not coming alone. It's coming actually with another spirit, okay, that will guide and follow that baby until the time of birth. So at that time, that baby, whatever spirit that came with that baby, in the time of when they're doing the naming, right, they will find out who was that spirit, and that spirit's name will be given to you, right? So that's how it happens, right? So yeah, so that is the birth. And at that point also, the umbilical cord, when the baby comes, the umbilical cord is cut and it is separated from the mother, okay? And that umbilical cord has to be hidden and be buried, okay? Be buried into the ground in a space where no other person know but the mother of that child, right? The midwife and the mother of the child and the elders, because if they can find your umbilical cord, they can use it. The bad spirits can use it to do a lot of harm for you, and they can foretell with what grace, or gift you came with in the moment of birth, and they can do a lot of damage, right? So they hide that. And also it is said that whatever country or whatever space you were born in, right, when that area that the umbilical cord was buried, guess what happened? You will actually come back to that land. And in the moment of leaving earth, going back to the spiritual world is where you will pass on, which is really, really an amazing thing. So I was born in Equatorial Guinea, and I guess that's where I will end up going, and have my resting place. And my daughter that was born in Spain, in a town called Extremaduras, in a region called Extremaduras, that's where her umbilical cord was buried, so she will go back to that land. So it is very, very unique moment in the time of birth, with the Bubi people. So number 3, we're going to talk about the spiritual cleansing of the child post-birth, okay? Shortly after the baby is born, the baby is taken, and the elders will take that baby away from the mother to wash the baby. So that baby is washed in herbals, but these herbals are taken in the deepest of the forest, and it is calm because this is blessed by the spirits. So that herb is very, very unique. You can never put that herb, I forget the name of it now, you can never put it on the floor, okay? As it comes, you take it straight to the pot, and you put water and it's boiled. When it's cold, the baby is bathed, okay, in that. And then they speak into the spirit of the baby while they're bathing her or him in that water, right? And then with the herbal infusion, right, to remove the dust from the other world, because that baby is no longer in the spiritual world. Now he's into the physical world, so that dust has to be taken. The white stuff, I don't know if you guys have seen, when the baby is born, they have like this little white stuff that's all over their body and their skin. That's why the baby is taken immediately to get washed. Well, over there, it doesn't get washed immediately like that. The elders have to take that baby and boil the herbals, and then from there, they clean the baby, and they chant into the baby's life, cleaning them by the dust of that she or he came with, So everything into the spiritual world can be left behind at that moment, okay? So now the mother also, elders and spiritual leaders, blow prayers, into the baby's mouth, right? Into the baby's mouth and into the child's ears and mouth, welcoming them into the realm of the living. Can you guys imagine that? So I've seen that all that happen. and when I gave birth to my baby, although my giving birth was not normal, right? So then the mother is taken away also, and then the elder midwife, will press her stomach, to take everything out of her stomach, of her wounds, the placenta, and the placenta is kept. In some cultures, the placenta is eaten by the mother. In some cultures, the placenta is eaten by the mother, right? But in our culture, in the Bubi culture, no. Okay, it's kept. Okay, and it's hidden, it's buried very far away from everybody, right? Then after that, the mother, they do all this, which here they call it yoni, right? But our yoni, we have been using it for thousands of years in Africa, right? So they boil all these herbs that come from the forest and blessed by the spirits, and then they make the new mom sit on top of that and cover her. She could not see anybody yet, not the baby even, and cover her so all that stuff can come out of her, right? Once that part is finished, the elder will take her with the lapa. It's a cloth that we use. They will tie her belly. Okay, they will tie her belly. When they tie her belly, right, they'll go and cook. Usually is this herb, this leaf that we call boboja. They'll cook it with fresh sardine from the sea. So the baby mother, the new mom can have milk in her breast, right? Immediately that woman will start breastfeeding. Okay, so they will take care, the elder will take care of that woman for the 3 months, which is called kombra. Okay, which will be the elder, will be like maybe your grandmother or your mom will be the one who will do kombra for you for about a period of almost 3 months while the mother is healing. So every day that mom will have to do that same ritual. They will clean her and they will tie her again. So that's why when you see African women, you'll never see the belly. Very seldom you'll see an African woman having a big belly. The belly will go straight back onto the position it was before pregnancy, right? So they tie them for 3 months, and for 3 months, the elders will cook for you, bring you food, and you're not able to really see too many people at that time, okay, because they're still guarding you. Right now we're going to talk about the naming ceremony. Usually take about 7 to 8 days in many other cultures in Africa, but for us it takes time, 3 months after the baby is born. The reason why, because you cannot introduce. The reason why we take about 3 months before introducing, the name, before giving the name or introducing that baby into the community, is because the baby is still fragile and the mom spiritually. Okay, so in order to protect that baby, because remember, like in the head, when I don't know if you guys have ever touched a new baby, if you touch that baby here, it's very soft, right? That is where the gift of God come and the ancestor come from here. So when you touch it, if a bad person touch that area, can take all the gift of that baby. Okay, so that baby is still protected, that baby is still fragile, and the mom spiritually. So we take about 3 months. Okay, and during that time, maybe a week or 10 days after the baby is born, some family members, usually the elders or your friends will come and bring food and bring gifts, but those gifts will not be given, will not be used until it's clean. Okay, so now, what is the significance of the naming of a baby? It's a very, very spiritual significance in our Bubi tradition, okay? Significant milestones, okay? The purpose of naming is to connect the child to the spirit world, the family, and the ancestors, and your ancestors, okay? So that is very, very important, right? So the naming, shape the child's destiny. So we do not give any kind of name, just randomly to a baby, okay? For me, my name is Waka. Waka signified the spirit of wind, and it signified that, my ancestors, one of them, when they were still alive, okay, they came back through me. So it was the spirit that accompanied me in the time I was born, right? So I'm named Waka, and my spirit is the spirit of the wind, right? So for me, usually I'm constant on the move. Babies who are born under that particular spirit, you understand, that came with them, they're moving forces. So they gave me Waka. And traditionally, every year, I must give food, I must do a ceremony for my spirit to continue to protect me and guide me and come with me at all time, because it is said the spirit is with you at all time until the moment that you leave earth again. You understand, that spirit will go back with you. So it's a very, very interesting moment in a baby's life. So what happened next, right? The child is presented to the community. For the first time, everybody will be seeing that child, okay? And an elder spiritual guide may perform a ritual, right? If they're not quite sure about the name, you understand, the elder spiritual the witch doctors or the spiritual doctors, you understand, will perform a ritual where they'll call upon the spirit of that child to tell them what is the name, and depending on the time, the date of birth, and the circumstances that came along, whether you had, a very difficult, how they call it, delivery or not. So that all will depend, because every moment of that marks a significant situation in the spiritual world, okay? So if it's one of your relative that disease that came with you, you understand that he will be or she will be honored, okay? And they will express hope, blessings, and beauty into the life of that child. And then the party will begin. There will be a lot of food. Obviously, you'll have people who will actually get drunk, and then they'll go around the baby. In this case, for my baby, I did not do it, but they will go, which they'll call now, a lot of tradition has been mixing, but they'll call it pulnado. Pulnado signify, they will bring the baby out into the community, out of the house. When they introduce that baby into the community, in Pichi is Pulnado. So many people will actually come and drop money on top of the baby, right? They will be giving like $100 or 100 of our currency, pouring into the babies, But now they don't do that often anymore, because it's when you have, bad spirit have access, because human beings also are spirits, right? Since the spirit, they can come when they drop that money on top of that baby's head, that baby, they can be wishing or casting a spell on that baby. So I did not do it for my daughter, because, I was worried, and since it's the only baby I have, I had to protect her. So I did not do the Pulnado, okay, or the introduction of my baby into the community. But that usually what happened. I might do it now that she's getting older and I'm gonna take her. I did not do that for my child, because also I had a very, very bad experience giving birth, which I ended up in the hospital for about 6 months. So anyway, this symbolic item used is water, which signifies life and clarity, right? Palm wine, okay, celebration offering to the spirits. Salt and honey, a wish for sweetness and wisdom. Okay. Animal bones or shell may be cast for divination. Okay. We go through all that. So you guys know African traditions are never normal. We go all the way. And now number 5 is community celebration. As I told you guys, there'll be music, there'll be dance, there'll be singing of the baby, and women emulating pregnancy and going around the baby and chanting and singing and giving that baby welcome to the realm of the living. So they sing a lot. Okay. In the Fan tradition, they actually sing all day long. We don't do much of that, but we do sing. Okay. So yeah, that can go on. That party could go on for a couple of days. Okay. Depending, how much money the family have, if they're willing to pay for more drinks and more food to come. Okay. And it's a collective that the child is now belongs to the community, and it's the responsibility of the community to take care of that child. So you are not only the child of your mother and your father and your family, you are the child of the community. So the community is responsible. If you do something wrong, they will call you on it, and they'll tell your mom, and your mom will say, no, take care of take care of him or her. You understand? It's a community, community that raise a child. It's not just only the mother and the father that raise the child. It's the whole community at that point. That's why I love most about the Bubi traditions, the African traditions, because you know what, you belong to the community the moment your family introduce you to that community. Okay, now final blessings, which is number 6. We're coming to the closing of this this topic. Final blessings and taboo. The baby often is blessed by the elders, each offering a short prayer. And so I did not did all that to my child, right? So we're gonna go now when we have spoken about 6, when the elders bless the baby, and then also certain taboos. Okay, a baby's hair cannot be cut until they do the celebration of the spirits. Okay, so we have the community introduction, and then we have another celebration for the spirits. Okay, so that baby's hair cannot be cut, and sometimes some babies are born with the hair like a rasta. It's called dada, and those babies are very unique. You cannot just cut their hair just like that, and then so the mom and the baby remain semi-isolated for close to 6 months to a year after the baby is born. Okay, so thank you so much, mama. Por favor, mothers, new mothers, please do not let people just touch your belly and when you're pregnant. Okay, and keep your energy very guarded and safe. And remember, fire prevention is self-protection. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you, for everything. Please share and like and subscribe, because it does help me a lot. Thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful Thursday.